How much can I spend in labs? And I'll say which category. Groceries. Okay. You have to like actually. It's just okay, Siri. I swear this works really well. Okay.
You are not alone.
No, you are not. All right, Ernie. Things are different in the YNAB app and the mobile apps specifically. And we're going to talk about that today. Things have changed, right?
They sure have. It's like the dam broke almost. And there's this flood of changes coming in. So we wanted to walk through those and really take a lot of time to walk through all the ways, all the nerdy ways that you can add transactions.
Exactly. So because the way you add transactions has changed. We've made a lot of changes, and one of those changes is that lovely little add transaction button is no longer in the list of tabs at the bottom of your mobile app. And so we thought that, well, this might be a good opportunity while we're already changing up how we add transactions to talk about every single way that you can manually add a transaction in YNAB. And I'm not even sure we got them all, Ernie. I think we got them all, but
I hope, fingers
more.
Crossed. And if we didn't, of course, we're going to hear in the comments. Please do, let us know what we did forget. But also, if you're playing along at home, hey, keep track. How many of these do you actually use?
Yeah, there you go. So before we get into adding transactions, though, I think we should go over the things that have changed in this new update with YNAB. We've reorganized things, particularly those tabs at the bottom, and added some new features. And we've set ourselves up for some new things to come, which I won't talk about, but I will talk about what we have done. So I'm going to be demoing. Ernie let me drive today because I have the fancy YNAB Labs app, which is like super secret, sneaky features that haven't come out yet. And when we're recording this, none of this has come out yet. So that's why I got this. And I am on the iOS 26 beta on my phone here. So I got like all the new features that are coming out with the Apple new OS on Apple, and also all the new features in YNAB. So there you go.
I love it. This is a Budget Nerds first, where you're driving the demo. I just kind of get to sit back, relax, and enjoy.
And it hasn't been a disaster at all. This definitely isn't the second time we're recording this.
No, this is our first take.
We won't talk about that. Anyways, so first, let's talk about the home tab we got here. Okay, so this is different. There's a gradient. I mean, look, it's so pretty.
I think it looks great.
Gosh.
I love it.
It looks amazing. So we have needed like a home base, like a place to kind of look at your overall numbers and get some content and look at things that you need to do in YNAB. And we kind of got that with the Spotlight feature, which we released, I don't even know when, like it was this year. I think it was like in May or something like that.
Something like that.
It's like beginning of the summer or spring. We released the Spotlight feature. And a lot of you guys might be like, I don't even know what you're talking about, because it was a little bit hidden. It was in the plan tab. There's another space. So we brought all of those features, all that stuff into this new home tab, and we've added some more. And we got some more plans for it in the future as well. But this is what we've got for right now. So here's the home tab.
And I love right at the top, it just tells you, here are the actions you need to take right now.
Yeah, if you're ever confused, you're like, what do I need to do in YNAB? Just go to home, go to your home base, and you right at the top. If you have transactions to approve that are waiting for review, they'll be there. Any overspent will be there. And if you have, and this is new, any money that's ready to assign, you have a little alert there as well. And I think there might even be more that we might do in the future, more right now, but that's what I got on my phone right now anyway. So
I really like how they're broken out. In the past, those notifications were all just kind of lumped together.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I don't know if this is, cover overspending or new transactions.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, so if you tap on any of it, it'll bring you to the appropriate space to do that. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I just think it's lovely. And I think we have a lot of plans for this. Like, for example, I know for new YNABers who are going through onboarding process of how to start using YNAB, eventually they'll have like steps to take in here, and they can kind of go through it in their own pace, and they can skip around. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Lots of plans for that space too. So that's pretty neat. And then we got top priorities. So this is kind of like pinning your your categories, which you used to show up right at the top of the plan. Now we got it at home here. You can pin whatever you want here. We call it top priorities because I think the idea is like things that you need to keep an eye on, or just like important goals that you're going after. Go right there. And I got 3 right here. This is a demo budget, by the way. This isn't me. But yeah, this is just like something we made up here. But yeah, like for example, I got like personal spending and groceries, and then like a big trip that this person's saving for showing up here. And I think, I probably shouldn't say this because I don't actually know if it's out yet, but I think it's out. I think on Android, there's going to be another section below this that will allow you to pick like your one biggest goal that you're going after, and it'll have some ways to celebrate that when you hit it. So if you have a target on it, you can track your progress in this space in a really special way. I think that's on Android, and I think Apple's going to be coming later. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that'd be another thing that's coming up.
I'm still trying to get used to using top priorities, and I think a big thing that helped is reducing the number of top priorities.
Yeah, I had way too many. Like
I think I started with 5, and I think I pared it down to like, oh really? I pared it down
think I had
to like 2.
10. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was like anything that I could possibly need to look at, and it was just like too much. So I think my eyes just kind of glanced over it because I had too many. So maybe that's the thing with you. If you have like too many top priorities, I mean, it's your top priorities. It's like your most important things. It shouldn't be everything, right? So yeah, maybe keep it down. That might be a tip for you to maybe keep it to like 5 or something like that. Might be a good idea. And then you got the monthly summary here. So these are numbers that have been available in the web app for a long time. They're really useful, like how much your underfunded amount is, or like the total amount that you've assigned this month, and the total amount you've spent, things like that. But there wasn't really a good way to get this information on mobile. And so we really needed to create like a new space for it because space is more limited on mobile. So we created a new space. So it has to add space to add the stuff, right? So there you go. So you got this September summary, and these all link to other things. Like if you tap on total targets, it brings you to cost to be me, which is really useful. If you tap on the total amount that you spent, it brings you to the reflect tab, and you can get all the spending information there. And then assign, I'll bring you to your options to quickly assign money there as well. So
very cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a shortcut to some of these important screens, but also you get some information at a glance right there, which is nice. Oh, assigned in future months. Love this. This is like it's like the smallest little section, but I think it's the most exciting for me because I really love talking about getting a month ahead, and I think adding this has really brought it forward in the community in a really big way. It's pretty exciting.
Where I spend most of my time. Like when I am in Spotlight on the home tab, my eyes go to assigned in future months, particularly that little pie chart.
This little pie chart. It just shows you how close you are to finishing off that month.
Yeah.
And if you have, like, if I had money assigned in October and November here, it would show all of them. So any money that you have assigned in any month in the future, it'll show it in a big long list here. So if you're like one of those people that likes to be 2 months ahead, like me, I can see like right now it'll show me on my personal app, October is fully funded and November is partially funded. And so you can kind of get that little pie chart and a little information. And you also have Pocket Hannah right here.
Love it.
Which is pretty cool. So yeah, I think that just that little video from Hannah in that little section has really opened a lot of people's eyes to this big goal of getting a month ahead in YNAB. It's a huge part of the YNAB process, the YNAB journey. But I feel like not enough people know about it. So now we have a space dedicated to it, which is really powerful.
Here's a new section for you.
For you. It's a little content. A little, maybe budget nerds will show up here at some point.
I hope so.
Right? Yeah. We at YNAB, we make a lot of stuff. We make a lot of educational content out there. And we've had some ways of showing it in the app, but this is going to be a little more dynamic. I think we're going to be able to change this up. Actually, it's the reason why it's called For You is because it's personalized to you. For a lot of folks that are new to YNAB, we ask them, hey, why are you here? Like, what do you want? Like, what are you doing here? Like, what are you trying to go for? Like, and they say, oh, I really want to pay off debt. We'll show them debt content here. Or maybe at a certain point in your YNAB journey, we want to talk about, hey, think about getting a month ahead. There might be content about that, right? So there's lots of things we can do to experiment in this space and just get more content into the app, which is really powerful. Because I think there's a lot of people out there, Ernie, that like, they download YNAB but they've never seen Budget Nerds. They've never read a blog.
And they're like, where do I turn? Where do I go for the information?
Yeah, they don't even know. It's funny. It goes both ways. Like, I think there's some people that don't even know that we have an app because they just like watch our content. But like, it's funny. Like, I talked to Sarah about this. Like, almost every time we show the app on Instagram, somebody's like, "What app is this?" And it's like one of our followers, and I'm like, "What? Oh no, we screwed up. Like, you're supposed to know about this."
Yeah.
Right? It's like some people think of us as like, oh, we're just an educational thing, and some people are like, oh, they're just an app. And I'm like, I think this will bring it together a little bit for people. So it's pretty cool, pretty exciting. And then you can contact support at the bottom of this screen. So if you ever need to get answers from a human being, or the chatbot, also you can go right there and you can talk to that. So that's very, very helpful. You can also contact support by tapping the little more thing right here. This little dilly.
Three little dots?
Yeah, did you know that's the more menu? That's what that's called. I learned that recently. Yeah, and you can contact support right here. So,
and that's huge because you probably already noticed the help tab is no longer down at the bottom.
You took it away, Ernie. What'd you do?
No, I swear, it wasn't my call.
Yeah. And actually, all the content that was in the help tab, if you hit see more, it's actually, this is what the help tab used to look like. So if you really like that, you can always get it there. Or if you use that to contact support, all you got to do is hit that little 3 dots anywhere in YNAB and you'll get that support option. Also at the bottom of this home tab, you can contact support right there. So don't worry, you can still contact support in the app, easy peasy.
All right, so we got the home tab.
That's the home tab, yeah.
We removed help. Mm-hmm. The final big change.
Dun, 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 the spending tab. Here we go. This is an all new space. And you'll notice that it took the place of the add transaction button, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But why are we doing this, Ernie? Like what's with the spending tab? What's the deal here?
Well, I don't think we can say.
Well, that's the thing. We have, okay. So I'm going to admit, like, some of you guys might be looking at this and you're like, okay, so here's what it is right now. It is a list of all your transactions, regardless of your account. And it's a little bit more of an expanded view. Like the design is a little bit expanded so you can really look and reflect on these things. Like, for example, if it's a split transaction, like this is for you, Ernie. Chipotle, 356.
356.
It was
like how many burritos? Seriously.
Yeah. So the truth is, I just wanted to cause some overspending in this demo plan here, and so I just added a big Chipotle charge. But I also put some split transactions in here because I wanted to show you, it like fans out the splits pretty nicely, so that's really helpful. And another thing that's really cool about this is we have a new, like all new search feature in the spending tab. So you probably know if you're a web app user, you know the search is pretty slick. Like you can just start typing a category and then you can like fill it in. But on mobile, the search feature is not as robust. Well, now it is. Like if I want to know about my dining out category, I can just start typing in the category and then I can tap right here. Category is dining out, and it'll show me all that. And then you can go further. Like you can filter by that, or you can say, okay, well, like what if about I don't know.
Any of your 305 uncleared transactions?
Yeah. There you go. I could say like, there's a lot of uncleared transactions in this. Yeah, I can say like, let's just look at the uncleared ones, and I can tap right there. Or I can say like, I only want the ones in the Bank of America account, right? It'll do that. So you can filter things a lot more neatly and easily with that new search feature. And you see you got like lots of options here. Like I only want to look at ones that have a memo. I mean, there you go. You got stuff like that. So the search feature is much more robust here. But some of you guys are probably still looking at this and been like, well, Ben, like, does this deserve its own tab? Like, I mean, it's just a list of transactions. Like, what's the deal? Well, we have some plans. Okay. And I want to tell you all of them. but I can't because software development is hard, and I don't want to get your hopes up on something that may or may not happen. Okay, so there's some plans for this space that are really exciting, and we needed to make a new space for those new features that are coming out, but they're still being worked on, so I have to not tell you about it. Okay. So
I like the new spending tab. Practically, it's nice on mobile to be able to search across all accounts really easily, because Christy and I, we spend across a lot of accounts, savings, checking, multiple credit cards. So I like that. Also, I just think it's really pretty. Like, I love the colors. I love the breakdown of categories when you have splits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it looks great.
I just like that radio sign is green here.
Yes.
I don't know. That's kind of nice. Yeah, it's nice for sure. And we always had the all accounts view, which showed all your transactions, but I never used it on mobile. And I actually find myself just going, if I'm ever like searching for a transaction, or if I ever just want to like look and reflect on my transactions, this is where I go.
Yeah.
Whereas when we had the all accounts view on mobile, I never really went there. Never really used it. So.
Do you have any transfers on that? Because I think the transfers are blue, and I've found that's my favorite.
Let's scroll. Yeah, there you go. There's a credit card payment.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that.
You like the blue?
Yeah, I like the blue.
Actually, you know what? We could probably search transfers. Transfer. Yeah, right there.
There
transfers.
We go.
Yeah, and I guess it's not blue in this case because I don't know why, but there you go. Maybe it's just credit card payments that are blue. I don't know.
Looks like those are loan accounts.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's something.
I don't know why.
Yeah, maybe it is just the credit card payments that are blue.
Oh, there's
actually.
a transfer. Yeah, transfer. So I think it's the loan payments are not, but these are. That's what it is. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's me guessing. I don't know. But anyways, some of them are blue. It's nice.
The colors are pretty. That's the main idea here.
Ernie likes the colors, guys. That's all you need to know. But yeah, so more for this space coming up, and I'm excited about that. But yeah, we talked about what's been removed from the tab bar because we only want to have 5 spots here, and a couple things are removed. One is the help tab we talked about, but also the add transaction button. Used to be right there in the center, and it's not there anymore. Oh man, what's the deal? Why'd you move my cheese, Ernie? Why'd you do it?
Again, I'm not responsible.
Now, I'll tell you, Ernie and I have had this in beta for a while because we're YNAB team members, but for a while, when the spending tab showed up, I was tapping that right there in order to add a transaction, but only for like a week. My muscle memory did adapt. Now we got this add transaction button here. It's floating all around. So yeah, so that's the place to go for probably most of the time. You're just going to, if you want to add a transaction, you'll tap right there. But we figured, hey, since we're changing the way we're adding transactions anyway, let's talk about all the nerdy, really nerdy. Some of them are really nerdy. Really, all the different ways to add transactions in YNAB. And I think it'd be pretty fun. So we'll talk about that.
Well, and the other thing, change is hard. Right? Mm-hmm. We know that. I mean, I think personally, you and I both love change. We're early adapters of the stuff.
We're always early adopters of software. We're just kind of those people because we're nerdy about it, right?
Yeah. But, change isn't easy for everyone. So we kind of wanted to just, hey, it's going to be all right. There's a whole bunch of different options that we have going forward. So we're going to walk through all of them.
And I get it. Like, especially something that's as important as YNAB, it's like foundational to your life in a lot of ways. Same way for me. Like when it changes, it can kind of freak you out a little bit, right? And I get that. But we do need to make these changes to make space for the new and better coming up. So here we go.
And, I've had this change. How long we had this change? Like 2-3 months?
Yeah, a while. Yeah.
Like I'm still trying to figure out what my new primary way is to add transactions in the mobile app.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like going back and forth between
I think
a
it's
few.
always going to be the add transaction button because it's just right there. I mean, like it's so obvious. But yeah, this is actually this is in a lot of different spaces. So why don't we talk about that? We're going to go by platform here. So we're going to talk about iOS first, mostly because that's just what Ernie and I use, and that's what I can demo easily. Then we'll talk about Android, and we'll even talk about the web app as well.
Even though there aren't any changes on the
changes
web app.
on web. Yeah. So that add transaction button is available for you in lots of different places. On the home tab, on the spending tab, you'll always see it there.
Ben, question for you.
Yeah.
When you open up the app, I honestly don't know this. Does it always go to the home tab?
If you open it up from like scratch, like if it's closed, it'll always go to the home tab. But like if you like, let's go to plan, for example, and it'll like come out. If you come out and it's like still running in the background, when you open it up, it'll go back to where you were before.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah. But if it's like opening up like after you restarted your phone or after you force close the app, it'll go to home.
Yeah, because when you brought up that screen, I was thinking, I add transactions a lot from the home tab.
Yeah. Because
it's like, it must be opening up there automatically.
That's probably why. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you got it there, and like when you scroll, you'll see it like gets a little. Actually, it gets a little smaller, but it's always there. But it just gets out of your way, if you're trying to read something. So that's nice.
Nice.
There you go. So it's there. It's on the home tab, the spending tab, any account register at all. So if you're inside any account register, you can actually add it right here in the all accounts view here. Actually, I think that's actually to add an account. Yeah, that's to add an account. Yeah. But if you're in an account register itself, you can add a transaction there. So that's where that little floating add transaction button shows up. One more place though, also kind of sneaky on the plan. If some of you guys might not even know about this, there's a little category details section. And you can add a transaction from there too. If you go to details on any category, boom, add a transaction. If you tap it, it'll autofill that particular category, which is nice.
There's a lot of information in the category details.
I feel like, you might not ever look at this, but you got like all sorts of stuff here. You can edit your target. You can look at your target. You can look at like all of your spending.
Right. The activity.
Yeah. Upcoming activity. I mean, yeah, make use of the category details because it's helpful. I mean, you can even look at like your moves for that particular category right here. Anytime you move money between categories, or even from ready to assign, it'll show up in a big long list right there, which is pretty good, pretty helpful. And you can also access that if you long press the category, so you can tap on it or you can long press it, and you got all sorts of options here. And you can go to view details right there.
Okay. Perfect.
Which actually brings up another way you can add transactions. Long pressing on a category, you can hit the add transaction button, and that will autofill that category as well.
Super easy.
Yep. What else?
Shortcuts.
Oh, we're getting into shortcuts now? Okay.
Getting really nerdy here.
Okay. So before I get into shortcuts, I want to talk about a new feature that we didn't actually talk about before, but it's sort of related to categories and transactions, so I think it makes sense to talk about here. And that is Siri. Okay. So if you're on an iPhone, if you have iOS 26 downloaded, the new operating system, you can just ask Siri for any category balance, and it is slick. Okay. And it'll tell you. So let me demo this for you right here. Okay. I'm going to say, we'll ask for groceries. Okay. How much do I have in groceries in labs? Oh, darn, didn't work. All right. There you go, right there.
All right.
Yeah, and I said labs because that's the name of the super secret beta app that we're testing. Because again, we're recording this before this actually came out. But what you would say is in YNAB. Okay, so you can ask Siri, like, there's all sorts of like little phrases that we've coded in there. Like, let me try this. How much can I spend in labs? And I'll say which category? Groceries. Okay. You have to like actually. It's just okay, Siri. I swear this works really well. Okay. How much do I have in groceries in labs? Yeah, it's gonna ask me which one just because of it's a demo. 846. There you go. And if you tap on that, it'll actually bring you to the category details screen for groceries, which is pretty cool. And actually, you can add a transaction right from there if you want to. So there you go. So yeah.
All right.
So you should try it. Like just say anything that feels natural to you. We have a bunch of different phrases coded in for us, so it should work for you. And just be sure you say in YNAB at the end, and it'll show you. So you could be like driving down the road and be like, "Hey Siri, what's the situation in groceries?" And it'll show you. That's pretty cool.
Love it. What other shortcuts we got?
Okay, shortcuts. So there's a shortcuts app. I don't know if you guys knew about this, but Apple land, you have this shortcuts app. And so this is where you would set up different shortcuts, which is just a way to quickly do actions in YNAB or in any other app you can think of without actually having to open up the app. Okay. So I won't get into how to add a shortcut right now because it's a little technical, but we will post a help doc on how to do that. But there's lots of things you can do. So for example, I have this little add new transaction shortcut, right? And I can actually add that to my home screen, which I have right here. And you can actually make the icon look however you want, which is pretty cool. And if I tap on that, it'll add a transaction. So you could have like an app icon dedicated just to adding transactions if you want, which is pretty cool. And then you can stack these shortcuts on top of each other to do what's called automations. So also in the Shortcuts app on iOS, you can set up automations. So for example, Ernie, when you open up the Chipotle app, wouldn't it be nice to know how much you can spend on Chipotle right now?
That would be a nice reminder.
Oh yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Well,
very helpful.
What if we just did that? I set this up. So Chipotle comes up. Oh, look, that's how much you have in your personal spending money.
Wow.
Right? If it pops right up. So you can set up these automations.
That is cool.
And you can even do like make it not specific. So like say when you open Amazon, you're about to spend money, but you don't know which category. When you set up the automation, you can tell it just ask me which category it wants. So it'll show up when I open up Amazon, it says which category, and you can say which category or type it in, and it'll show you that category balance right there. So this is huge. This is the find the money first stuff, right?
Right. Yeah. We always talk about, look at the category balance before you spend, just so you have that awareness, that clarity, that confidence. Mm-hmm. And now having it built into these other apps, it's like you don't have to try to remember to do something. It's just right there.
Yeah, exactly. So pretty cool. And you can also add this little shortcut to the home screen as well. Or the lock screen.
The lock screen, yeah. And I've been using that one quite a bit.
I think I can demo. Yeah, I can demo this. So yeah, I'll show you my lock screen here because I have it here. Yeah, you see down here at the bottom right a little YNAB icon, and if I tap on that, it will bring up the add transaction flow, which is really nice, right there in YNAB. So you don't even have to have your phone unlocked, and you can add a transaction, right? Which is pretty cool.
I really like adding transactions that way. It's just that I've been forgetting a lot of times that it's there. So I just have to like train myself to do that.
Well, I didn't even have it on my lock screen until recently because I got this iOS 26 beta and I was like playing with it and I was like, oh, let's like play with the lock screen. And I was like, wait a minute, I can add that shortcut right to my lock screen. Never even thought about it. So that's a pretty cool little way to add a new transaction right there. Oh, one thing I didn't mention. So in addition to asking Siri for stuff, you can search it, which is really nice. So like I can say, okay, let's look at groceries. If you just type in the name of any category, it'll come up and you can tap on it and it'll show you the available balance. So you don't have to open YNAB and scroll.
Jeez, I didn't know that.
Yeah, just search the OS, the general OS search. I think they actually call it Spotlight, ironically. You can search it right there and it'll show up. It's pretty cool. Like what's in the mortgage category? Mortgage. Boom. There you go. Shows up. There you go. So pretty cool. Pretty helpful.
All right. What other ways we got to add transactions here on iPhone?
Yeah. What did we miss?
Long pressing the YNAB app icon from the home screen.
Very nice. So we'll just long press this. And yeah, here you can do lots of stuff. You can create a widget here, do all sorts of things, but you can also add a transaction right there.
This is another way that I primarily add transactions.
Oh, you use this a lot?
Yep.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things like I wish I did use it more, but like I just don't even think about it. But like, yeah, you can long press anything and that goes for any app. Like there's most apps will have this built in. If you long press it, you can do some quick actions right there, which is nice.
I remember considering adding the shortcuts, like that add transaction shortcut to the home screen, but I'm like, well, that's just an extra icon on my home screen.
That's
so
what
I
was thinking. If you can long press,
yeah.
You just got to remember to do that, So, but I think there's some situations where you might want that. So it's pretty cool.
And then the final way that you can add transactions on iPhone, and I think this is the final. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you can tap on the YNAB widget.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess you want to demo that, Ernie, Ernie will demo that separately because I don't think I have it set up here.
Oh, right. Yeah. So I'll do this in post, but you can see it on the screen right now where if you have that widget set up, and you can stack those widgets, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a lot of different categories showing up there, and just tap on the category where you want to add that transaction. Then the add transaction screen comes up.
Yeah. You know what? I could probably add a widget right now with this demo budget. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. So I got a widget now. If I tap on it, there you go. It goes right to groceries. So
very cool.
So I just did that pretty fast. I think maybe Ernie could demo it better, but there you go. Pretty cool. All right. That's everything on iOS, and we probably even missed some. So if you know another way that we didn't even mention to add transactions on iOS, let us know in the comments.
All right, let's move on to Android.
All right, and most of it's the same for Android. So first, just like on iOS, you can tap the plus transaction icon button at the bottom of any account register, the home tab, or the spending tab. You can also long press, just like on iOS, on a category from within the app. You can also long press the YNAB app icon itself from the home screen. And you can also tap the YNAB widget on the home screen as well, which I didn't know Android had widgets until now. So you taught me something new there. And that's pretty cool.
Oh, wow. I knew something you didn't. That might be a first.
There you go. I don't know. That's definitely not true. But yeah, so it's basically all the same things except for like all the Siri and shortcut stuff, which is iOS specific. So there you go.
And then finally, we have the web app. Nothing changed here. We just didn't want to leave it out.
Because we're doing everything.
We're doing everything. All the nerdy ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there are folks who, they primarily use the web app, so don't want to leave those folks out. But again, nothing changed. You can click the add transaction button in all accounts. And do you ever use that? I don't think I ever used that.
All accounts specifically.
The all accounts, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. The only difference is that you have to choose the account where the transaction is going in because one doesn't know. Yeah, sometimes, occasionally, if I happen to be in there and I want to add something, I'll do it. But generally, no. I just go into the specific account register I want.
Yeah, so I think what most people do, and this is number 2, is you go into the actual account where the spending occurred and hit that add transaction button in the upper left-hand corner of the account register.
Yep.
And then a way that you reminded me of.
Yeah, you didn't have this in here.
I didn't have this in there.
You always forget about the keyboard shortcuts.
I know. I'm not a shortcut person. But hitting Shift-N in any account register brings up that new transaction screen.
There you go. So that's all the ways to manually add transactions. And then, of course, since we're doing everything, there's other ways too. If you're like, Ernie, Ben, I don't want to add transactions myself. It's the 21st century. I'm gonna do it automatically. You can do that by linking your accounts, and anytime anything clears your bank, it'll come in. And then also file-based import, so you can get a little QFX or CSV or whatever file from your bank, import that into YNAB just by clicking and dragging and popping it right in there in the web app, and you can import transactions that way too.
And for you new YNABers out there, you do not have to pick just one way to add transactions. That's the great thing. You can use a combination. You can use direct import. You can add yourself. You can even use file-based import. And you don't have to worry about duplicates when you're using multiple transaction entry methods.
That's right. So pretty cool because you can get you can make sure that you don't miss anything by importing transactions, but you also get the real-time feedback by adding it yourself, more awareness, and it's a little bit faster than import a lot of the time. So it's pretty helpful.
Yeah. Best of both worlds. Okay, Ben, so a lot of different ways, like a ton of ways to add transactions.
Right.
And what have you settled on? Or have you settled on anything yet?
I think
Still trying to figure it out?
I think it's pretty boring. I think I usually just tap YNAB and then hit that add transaction button, which, I will say it took me a little while, like a
From
few
the
days.
home screen?
Yeah, I think so. Or wherever screen happened to be on. I mean, I think that's just probably the way the vast majority of folks are going to do it. And it took me a little bit of time to overcome the muscle memory of hitting that middle button on the home tab or on the tabs, right?
Yep.
But I am trying to do a little more, like the lock screen thing with the shortcut on the lock screen. I've been doing that a lot more often. And because it's right in my face when I open up pick up my app or pick up my phone, I think that one is a little more visible to me. So I have been using that more. And that just saves me tiny bit of time. And also every time I do it, I think it's kind of cool because it's like a highly I don't know, it feels like a highly technical thing to me. I don't know. It's kind of fun. So I like that a lot. So I think those are the two main ways for me.
Okay. I haven't settled on a workflow yet. It's probably split 3 different ways. It's adding from the home screen, home tab. It's adding from the spending tab. Mm-hmm. And then it's using that shortcut on the lock screen.
Yeah.
And honestly, it probably is like a 33.3% breakdown across those 3 ways. I'm just like, yeah, my brain just hasn't grooved a path yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's fine. And I honestly, probably the main way I do it, because I'm a web app guy. I mostly just use the web app. So probably the main way I add transactions is hitting that add transaction button in my account register on the web app. Because I'll do that when anything that I haven't entered on my phone right at the point of sale, I'll enter that way, because I enter pretty much all my transactions myself. So yeah, there you go.
All right, folks. Well, what did we miss? What other ways are there to add transactions yourself? Let us know.
If you can get one, you get extra brownie points.
You get 10,000 points.
10,000 points.
Also, let us know what your favorite ways are to add transactions. Love to hear that. But before we let you go, we, of course, as always, we got to share some YNAB wins.
Yeah, let's do it. I have one from Natasha. Natasha wrote, I wanted to share a super small YNAB win that made me happy this week. I went to YNAB Fest in Salt Lake City this past weekend. Okay, so this is pretty old. This is like a year old. And it was great meeting you and the rest of the team in person. That's not the win. The win is after I got home and reconciled my accounts, I found out that not only had I stayed within my estimated budget for the trip, I'd underspent by $100. Total win. Thanks, YNAB. I love that.
Awesome.
Weren't you within like a few dollars on one of your trips recently? It was like,
yeah, it was vacation.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it started off, I had like +3, and then some tips came in, and it was
you were still mad. That's right. I remember you were still mad because it was minus, but I think you won.
But then the story doesn't end there.
Oh.
I thought it did.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I realized I had a duplicate transaction in there.
So you were under.
So I deleted it, and then I went under.
Oh, I'm so happy. Okay.
So yeah, and this is really funny because, like, you know, back to Natasha's win, the idea isn't to, like, it's okay if you overspend.
Yeah, it's not the end.
Right? Like, but for budget nerds, it is so fun when you don't, when you have, you know, this, especially when it's a bigger expense and you've been planning for it for a while, and it's just kind of like up in the air, like variable expenses and stuff like that. And when you come in under that number, it feels amazing.
Yeah, it feels so good. And yeah, especially I like it when it's either you come up under or you're like right on. If you're right on, it just feels so good. But yeah, it feels like you found $100 in your jeans or something, Natasha. That's pretty cool.
And I also want to say, like, a win is a win is a win, right? There's no judgment between small or large. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know.
I love
they're all awesome. They're all awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay, my win comes from Brandon. He emailed in. This was probably also a year ago. Brandon says, my wife and I started using YNAB about a month ago. We started putting money aside for family trips immediately because most of my family lives out of town and we visit them frequently. Usually this would lead to a lot of uncertainty with our finances because we never had a budget or any spending clarity. Last week, we got the sad news that my grandfather had passed away. The funeral was in Texas and we live in Kansas. So it turned into a family trip. Because we already had set money aside for trips and the rest of our monthly expenses were covered, this was easily feasible. We were able to spend some great time with family and celebrate the life of my wonderful grandfather without the looming anxiety of how our finances would be affected. I love that. This is a luxury we would not have had even a month ago pre-YNAB.
Yeah, I think I missed that they've only been using YNAB a month when they wrote this. So that's amazing how quickly I was able to give you peace on that in a hard time. So love that, Brendan. That's awesome.
Thanks for sharing. All right, folks, if you have a YNAB win, share it in the comments. Otherwise, email us budgetnerds@ynab.com.
See you later.
Happy YNABing.